Hi everyone, Nathan here. And I just want to say, the basics. This mod contains flashing lights and blood and gore. If you are sensitive to those, you want to click off now. And that all footage belongs to community game. Go check them out in the description. But basically what this video is me ranking every single Hypno song in V2 from my least favorite to my most favorite. Kind of like the Orpal Guy video. But anyways, let's just start off with the list. It was kind of difficult to make, but in the end, I came out with this. Starting off with my least favorite song in the mod. Okay, so you see, in Bygone Purpose, I'm gonna give it where credit's due. The instrumental is very good. It fits the tone very well, and I do feel like Hypno's voice, albeit while it's definitely the worst part of the song, because being way too loud, but I do feel like the voice does fit like Hypno. He is like obviously younger. The thing is, I just feel like his voice drowns out the instrumental way too much and kind of becomes annoying after a while. And I actually really like Hypno's normal voice. It has like an off-keyness to it, but in a good way. But with this, I just kind of feel like it feels way too high-pitched and way too loud. Other than that, the instrumental is good. And I do really like the part where like the ghost of the kid comes back. That does make me feel like sad for Hypno. But sadly, the song is just kind of the worst. And that's why it goes at number 17. Lost Cause is the textbook definition of I like the idea of it, but I feel like the song was executed pretty poorly. The vocals, for me personally, meet their lowest points in this song, especially GFs and Hypnos. But I just kind of think that on the Funkopedia, as the creator of the song says that Piran is better, and that the vocals were kind of just slapped on, and the instrumental is the best part of the song, which I full-heartedly agree. The vocals do feel very rushed and put on, well, as rushed as vocals can sound, I guess. But I do think that this song does have a good idea. I just feel like the song itself isn't good. It's such a weird step to take in the song directions, especially from Left Unchecked, and way too far from Safety Lullaby. But overall, I just feel like this song is very missed potential. I do feel like there is still potential for it to be good. Again, I like the idea of girlfriend trying to hey, remember this song, to try and snap boyfriend out of it. But overall, this song is going at number 16. If I'm being completely honest, V1 is better. For me personally, I really liked Girlfriend's vocals and the patterns that she used in the original Safety Lullaby. So when they were changed in V2, I was alright, okay, maybe they're good. And while they are good, I just heavily prefer V1's. The instrumental is, however, pretty much a big improvement. Except for the last lines when Hypno talks, they sound very out of place. In V1, they're a lot more echoed out as the song closes to an end. But in this version, they just kind of end for just abruptly, which I feel like is a downgrade. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. It is Safety Lullaby. I do feel like Hypno should have kept a lot more of the same lines he did use, which I'm pretty sure some are changed. But overall, I just kind of think V2 is kind of a bit of a downgrade in a sense. It's still a good song, but overall, it's one of my least favorite. Left unchecked, V2 is another textbook definition. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You see, okay, Wikipedia, the creator, Adam McCummins, said that he felt that the original song felt like it was lacking. Didn't really, feel like it was in that style. Okay, it's his song, he can do whatever he wants with it. You see, I really don't think that, for me personally, Left Unchecked really needed this much, difference. I feel like the original vocals were a bit better, because of Hypno's vocals already being, kind of off-key as it is. Them going, very high up doesn't really help the song. Again, it's not a bad song, it's just comparing it to V1, I just personally feel like it's better. Maybe a hot take, I just kind of think that V1 did a better job of representing it. I mean, overall it is it's a good song. I just definitely would prefer to listen to V1. But hey, maybe your opinion's different, but for me personally, this is going this low on the list. Purin for me is kind of a mixed bag, 50-50. You see, on one end, the instrumental is pretty good, and the ambiance that's in this song is unreal. But, on the other hand, I've never really been the biggest fan of Pico songs. I mean, I've tried to like them, but just with how Pico's vocals are, I can't really explain it, but just with how they are, I've just really been the biggest fan of them. Which is coming from the guy who's not really a big fan of Pico fan songs in general. Purin, I think, is a very good song. It's just me personally, I feel like it's very decent. But anyways, that's just why it goes this low on the list. Again, good song, it's just not my favorite. This is the most #1 underrated song of all time. In Hypno, at least. I don't think it's the most underrated of all time, but I just don't see anyone talking about this song, and it's great. I love it. I love the vocals, the way it comes together. I do really like the kind of overall tone of the song. The instrumental is great, but most of the patterns they kind of blow. Not gonna lie. I mean, the first few are good, but especially later in the song, in the more middle part of it, the patterns do get a bit been there, done that, kind of. They're just very basic, which does lead this song to go to number 12, but I still think it's a great song. I definitely think you should check it out. It is still very good, while being pretty low on the list. Alright, I have a very good explanation for why this song is here. I've loved Monochrome since V1, and now with V2 and this amazing extension, you see, I kind of feel like the extension, it's very good, but for me personally, it doesn't really blend well. It does transition into the second part, and but for me, whenever I'm listening to the song, it kind of feels a bit kind of takes a bit to actually get into the rhythm of listening to the second part of the song. Probably just because of how different the first and second parts sound. Plus, I'm just way too used to part 1 ending at where it would usually end at. But overall, the real reason it's down this low is just because everything else on my list, it just couldn't really put it anywhere without having to make some sacrifice, and unfortunately, Monochrome V2 just had to be that sacrifice that went down low. So it's not a bad song by any means, it's just a matter of other songs kind of outdoing it. As someone who really likes the Strangled Red creepypasta, this song is really good. I really like the overall atmosphere it builds, the instrumental is great, and the vocals are really cool. The only complaint I have is that during the only head scene, is that the instrumental sounds a bit quiet, which leads to the vocals only being sound like the only thing there, which does kind of make that, which is why it's down how low it is. But other than that, great song. Alright, say it with me. The original version is better. It's a very reoccurring theme with these remastered songs, but I swear it's not all of them. Alright, so most of them, of the remastered songs, are good, but the V1s kind of outdo them a bit. But just a bit. Brimstone is a good example of that. You see, in V1, while Boyfriend is singing before Gengar comes in, Gengar cuts him off and comes in with a very, crude laugh. In this version, he lets the Boyfriend and Buried Alive finish their turns, which does leave the pacing to feel very, very off. Again, I'm not alone on this. If you look at the official OST on YouTube, someone says the same thing, and I wholeheartedly agree with them. I do feel like the pacing is off, in some points, which isn't a problem in V1. I do feel like this version does have points that are better in this version, such as I like GF's version part in this, or I guess the hands part in this, more than V1. But overall, as someone said in the comments, I don't feel like this was remastered just for the sake of being remastered. I feel like this was done because, they just wanted it to be different from the V1. Overall, great song.
So cold. Why is it so cold?
Look guys, it's the song where the character in the thumbnail is. But really, Hypno is such a great song. And while I do prefer Shinto to it, this is still such a great song. The only problems I really have with it is in the first part, where sometimes the instrumental kind of feels way too See, in the second part, the instrumental really goes all out. That's probably when Saster starts working on it. But for the first part, the instrumental never really does anything up until that second part, which does kind of make me feel like the first part it was lacking a bit. Luckily, it does pick up the pace with part 2, but that is why it is this on the list. But overall, it is a fantastic song. Shinto has such a jolly, average, boss battle feel to it. This really does feel like the instrumental would fit in an actual like Pokemon game or some sort of like RPG boss battle game. But this song, I love the 8-bit style that everything has. I love how like happy it sounds. I love the most like a good chunk of the patterns. Just everything about the song is really great. I've always had like a thing for like chiptune songs. The only problem with this song is I do feel like it kind of goes on for a bit too long. I feel like it feels shortened down a bit. It just gets a bit much to listen to, especially at the end. But overall, this song is a great jolly listen. Pasta Night really does give off the vibe of like hanging out with a bunch of friends at some sort of like party. It really does like, it just sounds great. I also love the idea of having 3 characters to play as, with each of them having, differences in like weaknesses and abilities and stuff, like how easy, basically difficulty and stuff. But overall, I love everything about this song. The instrumental, just the vocals, how it mixes together, the patterns are all great. It's just that some of the mechanics kind of get a bit much to deal with, and a few parts of the songs just kind of sound like not very good. But other than that, it's one of the best songs. This song is so great, I can't even like put into words how great it is. Everything from Glitchy Red's vocals to the kind of chiptune-ish sound to his voice, the second phase, the voice lines being phenomenal. This would have been in my top 3 if it weren't for the next 4 songs. I feel like this song is great at what it does. I do feel like some of the beats, like some of the patterns can be a bit meh, but they are still good. And overall, I think this is a very solid song, and it definitely deserves to be looked at as one of the greatest. You see, there's been a certain pattern to some V1s of songs, where the V2 just doesn't really hold up as well to the V1, where V1 does a lot more things right, and you might think that this is the same case, but you'd be wrong. When I was first watching V2, I always thought that like, okay, well, Safety Lullaby, V1's better, Left Unchecked V1, Monochrome V1, were all better. Even with like stuff like Brimstone, I still thought that the first version was better. And I was worried because Missing No is my favorite song from V1. But to hear it be remastered so amazingly was so great. Because I loved the song. Sure, I did like Monochrome, but it was not my favorite. I always just preferred Missing No because I love pixel sprites, and Missing No is a very iconic Easter egg / glitch. This remaster, this V2, does everything perfectly except one thing: the ending. The ending, I don't really like how it sounds when it's how it's slowed down. If it was sped up a bit, I'd be fine. But other than that, this song is basically perfection. This is one of the greatest. Here we are, the final 3 songs. Now, starting off with number 3, we have a bit of a, I guess you would say, cool song. You see, Missing No V2 might be perfect, but this song is quite literally perfect. Everything from the vocals, instrumental, the gimmick in the song, the length, everything about this song is genuinely perfect. And if it weren't for some parts being a bit too loud for my liking, then this would definitely be number 2 or more. This song is great. This is like probably, this again, it's number 3 for a reason, is quite literally in the top 3 best songs in the mod. Might even contend for like top 5 best FNF songs of all time. I cannot express how much I love this song and think it's so good. Everything from the patterns, the feeling of hopelessness on this mountain, it's amazing. However, there are 2 songs that outdo it by just a little bit. I mean, come on. It's a Saster song. It's always going to be good. I love the fact that this song is just a Pokemon battle theme, but very, very like corrupted in a way. I just love how this song plays out. The sprites changing, the icons changing, the overall aesthetic of it, the ending especially. I love how in the ending, just everything in this song just comes together, but especially the ending, how it's just completely quiet, has soft little music playing. I could go on about how much I love Amusia. It's definitely like one of the best Hypno songs of all time. Again, it could also contend for like one of the greatest FNF songs. My only complaint with it is sometimes Disabled's vocals can sound a bit weird. Other than that, this song would have been perfect. If not for that one flaw, this song is the greatest. Well, greatest, more like second greatest, next to well. Let me get a dictionary out real quick to see what the definition of perfect is. All it says is play audio? Well, might as well play it. Let's see what the audio says real quick. Within the first few seconds of hearing Death Toll, I immediately knew it was my favorite song in the entire mod. Even afterwards, after listening to every single song, I knew it was my absolute favorite. The mechanic in this in this song, is very, good. The style of having one voice transition to another slowly, very unique, never done before. I'm not gonna say never, but it's just a very unique gimmick. Death Toll made it popular, is what I'm saying. Everything from the mixing of the voice, the bell, Dawn's voice, Boyfriend's voice, just everything about this screams perfect. This song should be the golden standard for every FNF mod ever. For every song, for every mod. They should strive to be as good as this perfect example of what an FNF song should be. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you want to, but I don't really care. And I'm just going to let you listen to the rest of this song. Till then, goodbye.